Verse 5, 6, and 7. It's very interesting. Verse 5 speaks about thoughts, and verse 6 speaks about words. After thoughts come words, and verse 7 speaks of the result of the two types of thoughts and words. First, we considered about thoughts in verse 5. Now verse 6, it speaks about words. The words of the wicked lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright will deliver them. What does it mean to lie in wait for blood? We know this verse from Luke chapter 20. Let me read this. Luke chapter 20, verse 20 and 21. It says here about the scribes and the priests. They watched Jesus, and they sent spies who pretended to be righteous in order that they might catch him in some statement. That's it. One who is lying, the words of the wicked are lying in wait for blood, to catch him in some statement so as to deliver him up to the rule and the authority of the governor. And they questioned him, saying, "Teacher, we know that you speak and teach correctly, and you are not partial to any, but teach the way of God in truth." Now, that happened to me some years ago when the local leader of the Operation Mobilization brought one of the OM people to my house, pretending to want to know about the new and living way and all that. And all the time he's taking notes and all that. And later on it became evident that his only intention was to warn everybody in OM against this doctrine. Well, he could have been honest about it. I don't believe that the blessing of God can ever be on such a person who is deceptive. I mean, even if he disagrees, someone be honest. Not with all this type of deception. That deception itself shows that you're an agent of the devil, not an agent of God. An agent of God will never be deceptive. He may not agree with some doctrine, that's fine, but there will be no deception there. You know, pretending to be righteous and wanting to know the truth, and actually you're a spy, trying to find out something with some other motive. Well, that's a serious thing. The words of the wicked lie in wait for blood, but the mouth of the upright will deliver him. That means the words of the upright will justify him. Jesus said that, by your words you'll be justified, and by your words you'll be condemned in the final day. And here's the result of it finally in verse 7. The wicked are overthrown. That's the foolish man who built his house on the sand. His words were foolish, his thoughts were foolish, and his house is finally overthrown. But the house of the righteous, that's the house of the wise man built on the rock, in the hidden life, the foundation, the thoughts and the words, it will stand. So we are never to become this scheming type of people, speaking words in order to get some information out of people or to put them in some trap. No. We are to be upright. No crookedness in our words, no scheming and deception. Verse 8. A man will be praised according to his insight. What that means is, that's a good exhortation, brothers and sisters. Let me put it like this. Gain the confidence of other people. Live in such a way, speak in such a way, conduct yourself in such a way that people will begin to have confidence in you because of your wisdom and your insight. A man will be praised, but one of perverse mind will be despised. If you find that brothers and sisters don't have confidence in you, well, that's not a good thing. It's usually an indication of something in your own character. Because I believe that if you're really godly, you may be despised out there by carnal Christianity, but the brothers and sisters in the church will be able to recognize one who is wise. They're able to discern one who is humble, one who has insight. So it's good to, particularly young people, to really conduct ourselves in such a way that over a period of years people can have confidence in us. This is the great goal that you should have in mind, so that you can help them. It's not that we want honor, but so that we can help them. Verse 9, I want to read this to you. It's a little different in some other translations, but let me read it to you in the Living Bible. 12 verse 9. It's better to get your hands dirty and eat than to be too proud to work and starve. In other words, don't stand on all your dignity and then you don't have anything to eat. You might as well do some dirty job and earn a living and support yourself than stand on all this false dignity and prestige. It's better to be an ordinary man working for a living, the Good News Bible says, than to play the part of a great man and go hungry. And you find a lot of that in the world. People who try to pretend to be very great, and really there's lack in their lives. But it's better to be an ordinary man willing to do dirty jobs in order to earn a living than to stand on prestige. Verse 10. A righteous man has regard for the life of his beast, but the compassions of the wicked are cruel. And what does it mean to have regard for your animals? You see, we don't have animals in our houses nowadays, but in those days, every home had animals. They had sheep, they had cows, they had donkeys to carry the load, and they had various things that every house needed these. And there, the donkey would know whether his master was righteous or not righteous by just one thing, that does he have any concern for me? You can keep on loading all the luggage on top of the poor donkey, and it says a righteous man has concern even for his animals. No, that's something we may think that animals, they've got no souls, we can throw stones at them and kick them, and particularly if they're weaker than us. That's not good. It's all right to defend yourself from some dog coming to bite you or something, but otherwise to be cruel. You can see cruelty even in the way a man treats animals. That's the point of this verse. He has regard for the safety and the needs of his animals. Now we can say we don't have animals today. What do we have? We've got servants who work in our homes. And a righteous man has a concern for the needs and the safety of the one who serves him. Yeah. So we can apply that to our own situation. But the compassion of the wicked is cruel. But a wicked person, even when he shows a little compassion, there's a cruelty even in that compassion. That's what it says here. Verse 11. A hard-working farmer has got plenty to eat, but it is stupid to waste time on useless projects. There's a lot that the Word of God speaks about hard work and diligence. We can apply that to the Christian life. That the one who is a hard-working farmer, as Paul tells Timothy, he gets a harvest quickly and a good harvest, and that's righteous of God to do it. Verse 12. Crooks are jealous, this is the Living Bible, of each other's loot, while good men long to help each other. In other words, wicked people, you know how crooks are. Two bunches of thieves, they are jealous that that person's got more loot than me. But righteous people are not like that. We can say, put it like this, that a wicked man, a robber, what does he desire? He desires other people's things. But we may not be robbers, but we can desire other people's things too. We can go into somebody's house and desire his things. We are not so bad that we'll rob it. We're just one step short of that. But we're basically facing in the same direction as the robber. Only thing we don't take the next step of robbing it. But it's really the same thing. A wicked man desires other people's things. But a righteous person, a good man longs to help the other. And that's the opposite. That he doesn't think in terms of what he can get that belongs to another, but what he can give to help that person. Verse 13. Lies will get any man into trouble, but honesty is its own defense. And that's also a good verse for us to bear in mind, that once you tell a lie, you get yourself into so many difficulties that you then have to tell another lie to cover up the first one, and then something else. It goes on and on. This is all practical advice for daily life, whereas if you're honest, even if you get into a little difficulty, that is its own defense. Finally, the truth will protect you. Verse 14 relates to the same thing. Telling the truth gives a man great satisfaction. Or as the Good News Bible puts it, your reward depends on what you say and what you do. You will get what you deserve. Notice the emphasis again on words and our actions. What you say and what you do will determine your reward. You will get what you deserve. And then, verse 15. Stupid people always think that they are right. Wise people listen to advice. It's a mark of stupidity to think that we're always right. And one mark of a wise man is, we can put it like this, that he knows that he has got certain blind spots. One mark of wisdom will be that I realize that there are certain areas in my life where I'm not doing it right, but I don't see it. That's the mark of wisdom. Whereas a stupid person, he says, no, I'm all right in every area. And there, a wise man is humble. He realizes that even when his intentions are right and to the best of his knowledge he's doing right, there are still a whole lot of areas in his life where he may not be doing it rightly, and that's why he's glad to receive correction from somebody else. Yeah. Then verse 17. Here it says, he who speaks truth tells what is right. A good man is known by his truthfulness. And in the NASB here, it's very interesting. The margin, it says, he who breathes truth. In other words, truth has become so much a part of his life that he's breathing it. It's wonderful. Once upon a time, we breathed lies. Our whole life was lies. Think that we can so cleanse ourselves. It's not only our words, but that our breathing is truth. These are they who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. Revelation 14, the 144,000. And no guile was found in their mouth because they cleansed themselves. It's a tremendous lot that the Word of God speaks about being truthful. Truthfulness is the mark of a good man, and a false man can be known by his lies. Verse 18, in the Living Bible, it says, some people like to make cutting remarks, but the words of the wise soothe and heal. Here's another mark of a foolish man. He likes to say something that's a cutting. Some people like to make cutting remarks. Something that will wound. You know that it's going to wound. And you say it in order to wound. You say it in a sharp way. There may be truth in it, but it's sharp. And it's said with the intention of hurting. Yeah, that shows you're a fool. But the words of the wise, they soothe and they heal. They don't keep quiet, they speak, but they speak so that they'll be soothing and healing. There is another contrast. It's very interesting to see in the book of Proverbs the tremendous contrast between the wise and the wicked being brought out in words. Words. The words determine whether we are wise or whether we are foolish. Verse 19, truth stands the test of time, lies are soon exposed. It's always best to speak the truth, because finally it will be proven. If not here, finally. It stands the test of time, but lies are soon exposed. Verse 20, deceit fills hearts that are plotting for evil, but joy fills hearts that are planning for good. Like God told Cain, if your intention is evil, then it's going to be bad with you. But if you intend good, then your face won't be cast down. That's a good verse. That if our hearts are planning for good, then there'll be joy in our faces. Our faces will be lifted up. But if our hearts are planning something which is not good, then we are deceptive. And here's a wonderful verse. No real harm comes to the righteous. Never. This is Romans 8:28. No real harm befalls the good, but there is constant trouble for the wicked. It's good for us to remember that. Maybe we can stop with that verse. No real harm can ever come to a righteous person. Even that which appears to be harm is not really harm. God makes it work for good to those who love Him, who are called according to His purpose.